What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cap Show. NFL Week 3 was amazing. Shout out to my Indianapolis Colts. They finally got a big win, and it's typical for being a Colts fan. We always win the big games and lose against the terrible teams. And I just want to know, are the Colts really going to make the playoffs this year? It's going to be a long shot. Look, I think they got lucky, honestly. I think Patrick Mahomes really had a subpar game. Didn't really ball out like I thought he would. And we saw Travis Kelce drop a touchdown pass in the end zone. So that was really the difference maker in the game. And then obviously the muff punt at the beginning of the game, which helped the Colts. Look, I think it's a win is a win, and we'll take it any type of win being a Colts fan. So, hey, shout out to Matt Ryan, 2 touchdowns, 222 yards passing. Could have asked for more, right? I just think for the Colts, I just don't really see much improvement, even from last year. I don't really see that improvement. I really don't. I just think we're still trying to figure each other out, trying to figure out, hey, what's our strengths, what's our weaknesses as a team. I just think overall the Colts were really still behind right now. Even though, yes, in the division we could still come up off that, I just think to win a playoff game, to go to the Super Bowl, we're not even close. We're not even close to the Super Bowl, and I think it starts with the owner, Jim Irsay. I just think he's really making mistakes outside of Indianapolis Colts organization. But, with that being said, a win is a win. Huge win by the Colts. I think for Kansas City, it's just a slump game for them. For Mahomes, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Like I said, the difference I thought was Travis Kelce dropping that touchdown pass in the end zone. I think that was a huge momentum shift, but Matt Ryan played well. Jonathan Taylor was kind of quiet, though. Only 71 yards rushing. I thought a little bit more touches here and there. Maybe get him out on routes. I think the Colts need to utilize Jonathan Taylor in different ways, and definitely out on the slot or throw him some screen passes. Do something different for him. I think that'll definitely benefit Jonathan Taylor and the Colts. And then shout out to Zaire Franklin, the linebacker for the Colts. 8 solo tackles, 12 tackles total. I think he was all over the place, subbing in for Shaquille. I think this was huge, man. Shout out to Zaire. What a player he is. What a ball hawk for a linebacker that the Colts need. Big win by the Colts. I didn't see it coming. Talking about last weekend, all the way up leading to this game, I thought the Colts were going to go winless. I really did, to be honest with you. I thought they were going to go winless, but hey, a win is a win. Huge win by my Indianapolis Colts. Let's go, Colts. And then we got Green Bay versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I went Tampa Bay. This was a dumb pick. Looking at some of my picks this week was definitely terrible. It really was, but it's just the first month and a half in the NFL. I start off a little slow, but as I get more towards the middle, towards the end of the season, into the playoffs, that's when I start to cash in. So I'm not really worried right now. But hey, big win by Green Bay. I just think, really what happened was when Mike Evans got suspended one game, I think that's really when they lost it, dude. I really do. I think they lost him this game because of Mike Evans, because of that suspension, and obviously Julio Jones was out. They had a lot of players out for Tom Brady, and that's why they got Cole Beasley off the waiver. I just think looking at Tampa Bay right now, yes, you did take an L. I'm not really worried about Tampa. Tampa Bay will make the playoffs this year with the GOAT Tom Brady. This will be Tom Brady's last year. That's what we know. And I think for Aaron Rodgers, this was a huge win for you. Only 14-12, a low-scoring game. Even though I said go with the over. The over was 42. I thought for sure it'd go with the over. I really did. I thought these quarterbacks would throw out the ball, but it was the complete opposite. It was a defensive battle, and it was really a good game. But I just think for Aaron Rodgers, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, I just really don't see much difference with Green Bay either. They're the same team that I saw last year, a good regular season team, and then come in the playoffs, they're going to get really destroyed. Special teams-wise, I just don't really see a lot of weapons to add to Green Bay right now. Nothing's really working. I don't see the superstar receivers to help Aaron Rodgers right now. I just don't see that. I really don't. I just think Aaron Rodgers needs more help, and it's going to be a long season for Green Bay, but both Green Bay and Tampa Bay will make the playoffs this year. You guys mark my words, but a huge win by Green Bay. Go, Pack, go. And then we got the Texans versus the Chicago Bears. The Bears were 2.5-point favorites. I went with the Bears. This was a pick that I got right. I think Justin Fields, he had 2 interceptions this game. Look, at the end of the day, it's all about the wins in the NFL. It doesn't matter how you played, especially being a quarterback. And if you threw for, say, 4 or 5 interceptions and yet you still won the game, that's all that matters. Justin Fields, he did have a bad game, but the difference was definitely the Bears' run game. And it started with Herbert, their running back, Khalil Herbert, 20 carries, 157 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns. That was the difference maker of this game. And I think that's what Chicago needs to do moving forward. They need to run the ball, be a run first team, which they already are, and then utilize the play action there. Throw it out. And I think Justin Fields can scramble, go on different plays, different schemes. And I think that's what Chicago Bears need to do moving in the future to help Justin Fields. I just think they need to spread it out more as well. They just can't be one-dimensional. And I think offensively they kind of are in a way. But the Houston Texans, Davis Mills, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. I thought this was an easy pick. I thought definitely Chicago would cover. They covered the 2.5. So big win by the Chicago Bears. I told you guys to go Bears. The Bears, the Bears. And then we got the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Tennessee Titans. I went Las Vegas Raiders. I was dead wrong on this. The Raiders were 2.5-point favorites. And look at the Raiders right now. 0-3 starting off the season. I cannot believe it, dude. I really feel bad for Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. They played college football together at Fresno State, and now they're 0-3 to start off the season. I mean, it's terrible. But at the end of the day, the last team to start off 0-3 and make the playoffs was what? The 1998 Buffalo Bills with my boy Doug Flutie. Shout out to Doug Flutie. It's possible. It's possible that they could still make the playoffs, but it's a long shot right now. And Derek Carr, kind of been in and out, but he had 4 touchdowns and 3 picks this game. They went crazy. Devontae Adams, he balled out as well. 2 touchdowns. Just a typical what we're seeing with the Raiders. But this game, though, it was different. Devontae Adams didn't have those type of games. He had only 1 touchdown and 36 yards receiving, and Derek Carr had 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. So I think in this game, it was just a little different. And then Hollins was their main receiver, 58 yards receiving and a touchdown for them. But I just think for Tennessee, they did enough to get the win. They controlled it, and they were up the entire game, and the Raiders were down the whole game. Derrick Henry, 85 yards rushing and a touchdown. He's on my fantasy squad. I still expect Derrick Henry to have that breakout game. He hasn't had it yet in the first 3 weeks, but I just think on the outside looking in for the Las Vegas Raiders, it's going to be a long season for you guys. You guys are 0-3. Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, they got to bounce back. They really do. 0-3 is a terrible look right now, so they can still make the playoffs, but it's a long shot. But, shout out to the Tennessee Titans getting the big win. And then we got the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. This one, I told you guys it was really a coin flip. Even though I went Buffalo Bills, leading up to this, I was like, man, something was telling me maybe Miami might get the upset. And they did get the upset. Shout out to the Miami Dolphins. It's the Miami Dolphins that are undefeated right now. Who would have thought that, dude? Undefeated, man. I cannot believe this, dude. The Miami Dolphins. And honestly, they're the hottest team right now. We can say that. Tua, 186 yards passing in a touchdown. We saw Tua get a concussion and come back in. I don't know what was that whole ordeal with that. Jalen Waddle, 4 receptions, over 100 yards receiving. Jalen Waddle, another baller on the Miami Dolphins, and then obviously Tyreek Hill, another baller as well. I just think Josh Allen, he did what he had to do. 400 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, 8 carries, 47 yards, and then we saw Miami do the butt punt. I mean, it was crazy, dude. The punter punted it into his own teammate's butt, dude. It was just crazy. I thought Miami was going to blow the game, lose the game, but Miami battled back, and they won the game. And I think, Buffalo, they saw, with Josh Allen on the last drive, time expired. I don't know what was going on with the offensive coordinator and Josh Allen, but at the end of the day, I'm not really worried about the Bills, okay? I'm not. The Buffalo Bills, there's a reason that they're Super Bowl favorite champions this year. There's a reason for that, and it starts with Josh Allen. Everything relies on Josh Allen, just like the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson. Everything relies on those two types of quarterbacks. Everything relies on them. So, big win by Miami Dolphins. This was not expected. I think a lot of people went Buffalo Bills, including myself. I just thought, this would definitely be a close game, which it was, and it hit with the under, but a huge win by the Miami Dolphins. And then we got the Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings were 6-point favorites, and they cashed in. This one was another game I got right, which is very few this weekend. Kirk Cousins, 260 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook, 96 yards rushing and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson was really quiet. Only 3 receptions on 14 yards. I do think Justin Jefferson, a top 5 receiver in the league, no doubt about it. And I think Kirk Cousins understands that. This game was a little different. They got the win. The Lions, hey, they surprised me last week getting the dub. I did not believe in them this weekend. No way, shape, or form. Jared Goff, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But Minnesota, huge win by the Minnesota Vikings. And then we got my lock pick of the weekend, the Baltimore Ravens over the New England Patriots. Baltimore Ravens, I told you guys, Lamar Jackson is a dog, dude. He's going to be front runner of MVP this year, no doubt about it. Lamar, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick this game, 107 yards of rushing and a rushing touchdown. And Lamar Jackson has the best passer rating in the NFL right now. Yes, best passer rating in the NFL right now at 119. Look, Lamar's a baller. I'm telling you guys right now. That's why I said at the beginning of the season, this is the biggest season for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens right now, dude. 100%. And I think Lamar understands that because he didn't sign the deal. The deal didn't go through. I don't know what's going on, but if Lamar Jackson makes it to the playoffs, which he will, and runs deep in the playoffs this year, the sky's the limit for Lamar. We could see Lamar get a contract like Patrick Mahomes, over $500 million, something around there. But I'm telling you what, Lamar Jackson deserves it, because if it wasn't for Lamar, the Ravens would be, they wouldn't even win a game this year. They would be winless right now without Lamar. So Lamar is definitely the key to success for them. So, and the Ravens know that. Coach Harbaugh knows that. But a big win by the Ravens. On the flip side, for the New England Patriots, you got Mac Jones, who got hurt, banged up, threw for 3 picks. Mac Jones, he's a bench player. He's the second-string quarterback as far as I'm concerned, dude. I mean, if they're going to keep Mac Jones in, well, you're going to miss the playoffs, okay? So I think they should go with Zappy. I think Bill Belichick, the great coach that he is, understands, hey, I got another elite quarterback that's on the bench right now. I need to give him an opportunity. Give Zappy an opportunity one time, Coach Bill Belichick. But what a win for the Baltimore Ravens. And then we got the Cincinnati Bengals beating the New York Jets. The Cincinnati Bengals, I told you this was a must-win game for Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They did not want to go down 0-3 this season. I'm telling you, they would have missed the playoffs. I'm telling you, this was the must-win game. Burrow balled out, 3 touchdowns, 275 yards passing. Tyler Boyd, he balled out over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown, dude. Jamar Chase, 6 receptions and a touchdown. Look, Cincinnati rolled. Joe Flacco had a bad game with 2 picks, but I'm telling you, for the Cincinnati Bengals, this was a huge win for them. They needed this so badly, and really, they were on the outside looking in. If they would have lose this game, dude, they would have been screwed. I really believe that, but a huge win by Joe Flacco on the Cincinnati Bengals. That's why I told you guys to go Bengals. And then probably the most surprising game for a lot of people this weekend was definitely the Jacksonville Jaguars blowing out the LA Chargers. They blew them out. 38-10. I believe in Trevor Lawrence. 3 touchdowns, 262 yards passing. Justin Herbert, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. James Robinson balled out, 100 yards rushing and a touchdown for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm telling you what, Jacksonville Jaguars are legit, and they will make the playoffs this year. I'm not saying that because they're starting off fast and they've had a good season right now. No, I'm telling you because Trevor Lawrence, man, he's a gamer. And I seen him play at Clemson. I even said it then. He's a gamer, man. He makes big plays when they need him to, and he did this game, and he blew out, and he outplayed Justin Herbert. He really did, and a lot of fantasy people had Justin Herbert over Trevor Lawrence, but right now, I'm telling you, in the long run, Trevor Lawrence will have a better career than Justin Herbert. You guys mark my words. But Jacksonville, what a huge win. I told you guys to go Jags. And then we got the LA Rams versus the Arizona Cardinals. Probably my worst pick all weekend. The upset pick that I had was definitely way off. I was way wrong on this. The Rams, they got the job done. They did. And it started with Stafford, 249 yards passing. Cam Akers, their running back, had a touchdown. Kyler Murray, man, he's inconsistent in a way at sometimes. And I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned with Kyler Murray. I don't think he's really a superstar yet. He has an opportunity to be a superstar, but on the flip side is he has a lot to learn. And I think inconsistency is huge for him, dude. I can't even speak right now. But I'm telling you what, dude, Kyler Murray, he's got a lot to learn. Marquise Brown, 14 receptions, 140 yards receiving. He balled out as well. But I thought the Rams were going to get upset. This was a dumb pick. But the Rams, they handled business. They got the job done. What a huge win by the Rams. And then we got the Carolina Panthers beating the New Orleans Saints. Baker Mayfield, 170 yards passing and a touchdown. Winston, he had 2 picks and a touchdown. I don't see in both quarterbacks, Winston and Baker. Baker Mayfield, he looks like the same Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma, dude. He really is. He's like the sober Johnny Manziel, but not even as good as Johnny Manziel when he's drunk, dude. Like, straight up. I don't see it in Baker, man. I really don't, dude. It's like watching, it's like watching a high school quarterback, man. It really is, dude. It's uncoordinated, unorthodox, and there's not really a method to it, dude. There's not really a routine to it. So I just think for the Panthers, McCaffrey, over 108 yards rushing. They're going to have to utilize him a lot more. Everything's really on McCaffrey and Baker. And for Baker, it's just like, I don't know. I don't really believe in Baker. He doesn't have that long ball throw, dude. He just doesn't. So I'm not sold on Carolina. I think Carolina will miss the playoffs this year. So will the Saints. But, what a win by Carolina Panthers. And then we got Atlanta Falcons beating the Seattle Seahawks. This was a toss-up for me. I win Atlanta. They got the job done. Marcus Mariota, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Cardell Patterson, 141 yards and 1 touchdown for Atlanta Falcons. That was a difference maker. He ran all over them. And I just think for Seattle during the rebuild mode, after Russell Wilson left, that was it, dude. Geno Smith, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Tyler Lockett, I wish he would have went to to Denver. I really do. I wish he would have went to Denver and just helped out Russell Wilson because they need it in Denver. They really do. Big win by Atlanta. But speaking of Russell Wilson, they did win on Sunday night in an ugly way. In a really ugly way. Russell Wilson, 184 yards passing, and that's it, dude. Jimmy G, he got a safety, which really was a blessing in disguise because if Jimmy G didn't step on the line, he would have threw a pick 6. So it really was a blessing. But at the end of the day, the Broncos do not look good. Russell Wilson just looks like he lost a couple steps. It really does. Yes, the last drive in the fourth quarter looked like the old school Russell Wilson, but I'm talking about the whole game. Russell Wilson does not look the same, dude. He does not, dude. It looks like something. I don't know what's wrong with Russell Wilson. I don't know what it is, but he's a lot slower, and in the pocket, sometimes he just kind of crumbles up to whereas the old Russell Wilson would make a play. I'm going to scramble. I'm going to miss a couple tackles. I'm going to make a miss. I'm going to, buy extra time and throw it down the field. It wasn't there. I don't know what it is. I'm not sold on the Denver Broncos whatsoever, dude. Right now, the way they're playing, they will miss the playoffs this year. They 100% will. Jimmy G, he's a solid quarterback, but he's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Debo Samuel on my fantasy squad, 73 yards. I just think overall, yes, San Francisco, they have a solid defense, but their offense has been their weakness for the past 5 years, dude. Ever since Colin Kaepernick left the 49ers, it's been downhill offensively. They have not had any answers, and it makes sense, dude. They've only scored 10 points, dude, last game against Denver Broncos in Denver, dude. It was just kind of an embarrassing game, a really boring game in a way, but a huge win by the Denver Broncos. And then we had the Monday Night Football game. The Cowboys beating the New York Giants. I told you guys to go Cowboys. Why? Because of their defense. And they came to play. And really, I want to give a shout out to Cooper Rush one time, the backup quarterback that filled in for Dak Prescott. And really, he's playing well. He's playing solid, what you need to do to win. 215 yards passing and a touchdown. I just think, man, my homie Zeke on my fantasy, man, he's got to go off one game, right? He's got to, but, I want to give a shout-out to Tony Pollard, over 100 yards rushing this game. CeeDee Lamb, 87 yards. receiving in a touchdown. I think, for the Giants, they just didn't really answer that. Saquon Barkley, he did have a touchdown. Daniel Jones had one interception. I don't see Daniel Jones being a long-term quarterback in New York. I just don't see it. I see him being a backup someday, but we got to give it up for the Dallas Cowboys. When Dak went out, ever since Dak went out, right now, Dallas, dude, they're on a winning streak right now, dude. They're ready to roll. They're on a 2-game winning streak without Dak. And in a way, it's just like, wow, dude, how does that happen? To whereas a lot of the Cowboy fans are like, oh, shoot, dude, without Dak, we're screwed. We are screwed. We're going to miss the playoffs. This is it. Our season's over. But no, I think really the difference is definitely Dallas's defense, man. Parsons, it starts with Parsons getting pressure on the quarterback, and that's what the Dallas Cowboys did this game, man. They were on their P's and Q's, man, and I love it, dude. I really do. But the one thing I will not love is seeing the Dallas Cowboys make the playoffs this year and have the same movie they did last year. Somehow blow it. I don't want to see that movie. I want to see the Cowboys actually run deep in the playoffs. I want to see the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl, dude. One time for Jerry Jones. Oh my gosh, it's been decades the last time since they've been in the Super Bowl. It's been so long, but I think the Dallas Cowboys, they needed this win a lot, and they got it, dude. And next week they play the Washington Commanders, which I think they'll win as well. So Dak being out right now, it's really the blessing in disguise for Cowboys because they're winning. They are winning games. That's all that matters in the NFL is to win games. So that's what the Dallas Cowboys did. Shout out to the Cowboys one time. But this whole weekend, man, I definitely missed out on a lot of picks, a lot of iffy picks as well, like the Arizona pick. That was a dumb pick as well. Going against Philadelphia right now was definitely crazy, man. And speaking of Philadelphia, Miami and Philadelphia are the only two teams that are undefeated, man. Shout out to Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, man. Dude, Jalen Hurts, 3 touchdowns, 340 yards passing, man. Devontae Smith, 169 yards receiving and a touchdown. Dude, I'm telling you right now, Philly is legit, man. They really are. They have the whole complete package from offense, defense, and special teams. They're solid everywhere. And it starts with Jalen Hurts. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. Washington didn't have really any answers. Carson Wentz is 211 yards. Terry McLaurin over 100 yards receiving. I just think for Philly, man, they are legit, man. We got to give Philadelphia respect. I didn't, man. I thought Philly was going to get upset, but Jalen Hurts came to play, man. He's been coming to play this year, and I think, what the Philadelphia Eagles have going right now is not just Jalen Hurts, man, just the whole chemistry as a football team of what they're doing right now. Offensive line's doing great. Defensive line's doing great. I think Philadelphia, man, they are one of the hottest teams, them and Miami, the only 2 undefeated teams right now, dude, which is crazy to think, right? Is Miami and Philly are undefeated? How's that possible, dude? How? Like, what? Miami and Philly, but hey, shout out to the Miami Dolphins, Philadelphia Eagles one time, and shout out to my Indianapolis Colts getting that huge win as underdogs. It's the Cloudwood Cab Show. Let's go!